Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending Scaling to Zero. I guess we'll start by giving a few quick introductions. Me and Eddie are both from ICS Student Council, which is the official student council for the School of ICS. We maintain projects such as Almanac, Statistics, and now Zotmeal too.
Also Peter Portal, don't forget Peter Portal. Everybody.
And Peter Portal. And we host events every Wednesday, generally at DBH 6011. I guess. Cool. Here's me and Eddie. We are the new ICSSC
Projects co-chairs.
Yeah, and I'm a second year E major.
I'm second year CS major. Oh, did you say third? Yeah, I'm second. I'm not that old yet.
Oh.
It's fine. Will be.
It says second on our notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is serverless? I'll let Eddie take it away.
Cool. So serverless is basically just a way of running code without having to think about, oh, I need to buy this and that many servers to account for like this many users, which is really cool for hackathons because during the hackathon, you're going to be testing a lot, right? And then you'll have the demo and you'll have a spike in users, but after that, you'll probably never deal with it again, ever. But if you use like an actual server, you'll still have to you have to pay for the resources that you're not using. And if you go over the limit that you originally accounted for, then you have to set that up. So serverless abstracts these problems away by providing like a way to just run code on demand. Okay, cool. That's how you get the slides. A bunch of pros and cons of serverless. Scalability, you can scale to as large as the sky's the limit as long as you have the money. If you don't have the money, or even down to zero, which is the title of this workshop, scaling to zero. If no one's using your app, then you pay nothing. Yeah, cost savings, like I already mentioned. High availability. Serverless apps are okay.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, and so serverless apps generally cost less than provisioning your own servers and stuff, unless you have like a really niche. And yeah, are there more down there?
Yeah.
Like, can you scroll down? Yeah, high availability, automatic scaling. Okay, but there are obviously also drawbacks to using serverless. So serverless services suffer from this phenomenon called cold start. Basically, whenever you create a serverless service, it's like a container, right, or an app, and it just sits there. It doesn't really do anything. And whenever you get your first request to that service, it has to provision the resources, run the setup code, and then only then does it handle your request. The period before it actually handles your request is the cold start, and sometimes this can be up to like a second or two. This is very slow. But the upside is once your serverless function is warm, once you've already made a couple of requests to it, it'll usually stay warmed. So any subsequent requests will be that fast. There are ways to get around this, like by pinging your function, making sure it stays warm so that it always responds quickly, or by provisioning it, but that usually costs money. Limited customization. Yeah. So you can't like really run arbitrary code in serverless functions. But most of the most common ones should have you covered, like Python, Node.js. I've even heard of like Rust runtimes, which is really cool. IMO, Rust crab emoji, etc. But you can't just like upload a C++ binary to a serverless function and have it run. That's not really how this works. But they do cover most of the most mainstream programming languages. That's fine. Just don't run Haskell on it. Oops. Oh, right. You scroll past the limited function runtime.
Yeah.
Okay, so also serverless has time limits. For AWS, the default is 3 seconds, but it can go up to 15 minutes. Although if your serverless task takes 15 minutes, you're probably going to be spending a lot of money. So you should probably look into something like Docker containers, but that's neither here nor there. For Vercel's hobby plan, I believe it's 10 seconds, and for a pro plan, it goes up to 60 seconds. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so your requests have to be quick. You can't be running very computationally expensive operations.
I think also just generally, like serverless is more optimized toward short-lived tasks that you don't know that don't happen on a regular basis.
Yeah. Vendor lock-in, like, so for AWS Lambda, there are a bunch of specific Lambda-specific things that, let's say if you switch to Vercel or Cloudflare workers that don't really behave the same way. So when you're writing your app, you have to consider vendor lock-in, like, am I going to be sticking with AWS, or maybe I want to go to Vercel because they're cheaper, probably, I don't know. Yeah. And also debugging serverless is really hard. So like, it's very difficult to recreate the serverless environment on your own local computer. And also basically the only way you can debug your code in a serverless function is our favorite way, adding print statements. Yeah, that's basically, there are some more advanced ways to do it, but a lot of the documentation just straight up recommends add print statements and figure out what's wrong. So you can't run a debugger or anything. So that might make your development task a little bit more difficult. Also performance limitations. So a lot of the time, serverless functions only have very limited RAMs because, like Alex said, it's for infrequent tasks that are relatively not that computationally expensive. There are some solutions for, like, you know, serverless machine learning or like GPU computation, like Serverless, but those are a bit more rare. They're more expensive because, I mean, you're requesting more computation time, but they exist. But most of the time, you're going to be using it for something lightweight, simple, fast, like an API, which we're going to show you all today.
So workspace setup. So does everyone here have a text editor installed? And does everyone here also have Node installed? Everyone good? Okay,
Awesome.
cool. And then I'm assuming everyone also has a Discord and GitHub account. So we're gonna get started by cloning our starter repo. You can go to, oh, it's not linked. You can go to github.com/ICSSC. And if you click on the repositories tab, it should be one of the first ones on the list.
Also, I'll just send this in the workshop channel in Slack real quick. Yeah, and if you don't have a GitHub account, you could also just download our repo as a zip file, unzip it locally on your computer.
I will walk around to see if anyone needs help.
Yeah, Alex, let's go.
This one, the VenusHacks 23 scaling to 0. It's the fourth model, was that?
Yes, fourth.
Of course, you use
Games. Yeah, I was disappointed that you weren't using it in your Firebase tutorial.
Hey, we gotta keep it simple. It's not
True. That is real. That is real.
All right.
So
the next little step for setup is getting our Discord application created. So if everyone could go to the Discord developer portal, you can either go to this link, scan the QR code, or just search up Discord developer portal and create an application. So there'll just be a button in the top right, and then you can call it whatever you want. And then you just check the little box and press create. And I will continue to wander.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Oh, that is the preferred. There we go.
Well, I completed
We'll give everyone a few more minutes to get their Discord application created. But basically what this does is it just creates a bot user on Discord so you can use the token for it to send messages. You can also just search up Discord developer. It should be. I think, yeah, application. Just click on the application tab. And then okay. Okay. We'll just wait a few more moments. Okay. Is everyone that's following along all set? Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
So now that we have our application created, you can go back to the repo that we just cloned and create a .env file to store all your secrets. Essentially, the advantage of using a .env file is so you don't accidentally commit these values to your repository. We'll get started by adding our base URL, which is just going to be the Discord API URL, which is on the screen. It is a bit small. If you can't see it, it's just https://discord.com/API/root10.
I can also just post it in Slack.
And our application ID will just be on the application you just created in the Discord portal. It'll look something, it'll be a 19-digit numerical value. And the public key will be right below that. And your token will be in the bot tab on the left-hand side. And I'll walk around to help everyone find those. This piece is on the equal side. Are you following us? Just .env. No. You can just create a .env file in the root directory. Just a new file that says that's actually in the API folder, so just move that to the root directory.
Thank you. Where do you find the secret?
Yeah.
So I have the token, everything, for sure.
Where do you get the token in secrets?
Oh, right. Did you create a Discord application?
Oh.
So the token will
yeah,
just be going to general information.
Yeah.
But there's the application ID, there's the public key, and the token will be in the bottom. And then the secret is just a random value that we'll use later.
Oh, okay, so.
Just press reset there. and then yes,
And you have to
and they'll
use
give you
secret.
your event.
You'll have to copy because they only want to show once.
It's so you don't do it once.
Oh my god, rate limited L.
Oh, such.
Did you try to do two things for both of them?
No,
What'd you get rid of? What'd you get rid of?
Reset.
I'm trying to get a reply.
Oh, you don't need that one.
The secret? The client
It's the
secret?
bottom one. Under the bottom tab. It's the token.
No, but
Oh, the secret, sorry, just to clarify, the secret is just a random string that we're gonna use later. It has nothing to do with Discord. It's essentially just to verify that, the request came from us.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can send it to whatever you want.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, that makes it.
The token is gonna be under the block tab. You just press reset token. Have you created your application? Just go to the top, where it says application, perfect. And then just press new application. And you can color whatever you want. Perfect, you get your value on there. You have your, yep, perfect. You can just put whatever value you want there.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. I think everyone good? All right. So we shall move on to creating your very first endpoint. As you can see, we already have a template file in the API folder called hello.ts. And this will just be an example endpoint. As you can see, we have, in this file, we have a function from line 5 to 13. This function is essentially run by Vercel every time you get a request on the /API/hello path. So when that request comes in, Vercel will spin up, I guess, a Lambda in this case, and it'll run the following code. And I guess just to walk everyone through line by line, we take the request, we get the parameter name from the request. If there's a name, we return the response hello, and then the name you pass in. And if there's no name, we just say hello world. So before we run this, we're going to need to install the Vercel CLI to have the tooling to be able to develop this locally. So if everyone can just do npm space I space dash capital G and then space, what?
It's lowercase g.
Oh, sorry, lowercase g, and then space Vercel. Eddie will send that in the workshops channel. But just run that in your terminal, and that will install the Vercel CLI for you.
Well, are you guys get an MIT license?
I mean, everything else in ICSSC projects is MIT.
Oh, also, after you're done installing the Vercel CLI, don't forget to run npm space I in your repository to install the dependencies we need.
Ready?
All right. Who doesn't have the Vercel API, the Vercel CLI installed? Raise your hand if you do. Okay. Got you. You're good. Okay, cool. Next. So now that we have all this set up, just run Vercel space dev in your command line, and it'll prompt you to it'll probably prompt you to log in. So click the login link and then log in with your GitHub account on Vercel. Or with any other account, doesn't really matter. You just need a Vercel. Just press enter. Okay. Uh-oh, try again. Oh, you might have to create an account first, actually.
Oh.
So yeah, just go to vercel.com and create an account.
There's only VPS after.
Yeah, just yes.
That is it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, so I guess it's just, Firefox.
Oh, go to /API/hello.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
And then if you pass it in your name with a search parameter, you can make it say hello Sam. All right, perfect.
No, I got it working.
I just gotta do it.
Oh, how? No, I see.
It's not letting you.
The terminal process, right?
Hmm. Do you log in with GitHub?
Mhm.
So
But I have
we're
to
still there.
verify before.
That's strange. Well, I guess I'll.
Yeah, it's got Sam.
Just trying
Wait, look at.
How's it running? Oh, you
to-
use it.
Yeah, just spam answer, it's fine. Yeah.
I think you requested one. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, Sam enter should be available in local
But
speed
it's
out.
still
Can you try running with command hit? Just Vercel dash.
Yeah, so just hit
Yeah.
enter until it stops prompting you. The default should be fine.
Just hit enter again. Enter.
Yo, or
Yeah, all right, should be good. So
And then,
the link
yep.
/API.
Just hit enter.
You should be able to see it.
Perfect. And now if you go to localhost and go to that and then
Yeah.
/API/hello. Yep.
Yeah. Add the-
Cool. And it'll just say hello world when you get it working.
No, just all.
Are you still having trouble? Oh, perfect, it works. Awesome.
Hello.
Should we be able to see like hello or something?
Yeah, so if you go back and then run, oh yeah, just hit enter a bunch of times to accept the default values.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep, just keep hitting.
Cool.
Perfect. And then enter again. Yep. And then go to localhost 3000, go to that link and then /API/hello. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. I think. Cool. So, yeah, I already ran you through kind of how this works. So essentially what the Vercel dev command is doing is every time you visit the localhost 3000/API/hello, it's running this function. So this function just either responds with hello world or hello your name, and gives a blank page just with that text. So next we're going to move on to the message endpoint. So yeah, this is the endpoint that actually does all the heavy lifting of essentially pulling a random image from our API and then sending it as a message. So I'll walk you through this kind of line by line. So again, this export default async request function is the function that gets run every time it's called. And if we go to the next step, this is where that secret we added in the previous step comes in. So essentially, this function will be hosted publicly. So we don't want anyone to just be able to visit the URL and send a picture. We want to verify that request is coming from us. So essentially, we use a secret for that. So we start by getting the secret from the URL. And then afterwards, we get our secret from the .env file we created earlier, which is just some random value you generated. And then if we're missing either of those, we throw an error. And if they don't match, we also throw 401, which it means unauthorized, essentially. So now that we get past that, or I guess assuming you get past that, we fetch an image from the FAM API. So this is the URL for the API. And essentially all it does is returns a JSON file with one key that's labeled src that has the URL of an image. And then after we get that URL, we fetch that from the API and save it in a variable. So essentially this on line 29, this FAM blob API, the FAM blob variable is just a variable with a picture of FAM in it. And moving on, we can see that the next step will be to actually upload this image to Discord. So we start by creating a new form data, which is just kind of what's the word again?
Data structure?
Yeah, data structure. And we append the value files square bracket 0 to it with our image, and then the file name. So essentially, we're just adding the image stored in FAM blob to the key files 0 and telling it that our image name is going to be fam dot whatever file type it is, probably PNG or JPEG. And then after we have our form data set up, we send a post request to Discord with our base URL. Remember, this is our http discord.com/API/v10, so whatever the Discord API is. And then this routes.channel messages just returns the API path that corresponds to our specific channel ID. And once we send that post request to Discord, it'll send that message to the corresponding channel. And in a moment, we'll show you how to go over getting that channel ID and figuring that out. So I guess I'll just allow us to see everything else. And we'll just quickly go over all the surrounding code. Lines 51 to 53 are just some basic error handling. If Discord returns an error, we'll just print it. We'll throw another error, which gets printed to the console. And we just say failed to send message and send a 500 code. This will be important later to ensure that our message is delivered, even if this function fails randomly one time. For example, let's say the FAM API is down. And I think this is a pretty good representation of one of the benefits of using serverless, is that error handling sometimes is a lot easier. So essentially, we're going to set this up later, where if it errors, it'll automatically get retried again. And because we're using a serverless service, we don't have to worry about any of the logic around that. It'll automatically do it. So yeah, I guess we'll just go into Discord and get our channel ID, and I'll walk everyone through that. So everyone open up Discord, go into your user settings in the bottom left, and then click on Advanced on the left-hand side, and then enable developer mode. This will allow you to copy channel IDs, and me and Eddie will walk around to make sure everyone can find the setting.
I guess on the
Go
subject.
to Discord, like your actual Discord application, not the developer form.
Because on the subject of better error handling, one of the benefits of serverless is if you break prod, it doesn't go down for everyone. It just breaks for that one. Yeah, right now. Yeah, right. Everybody's done it. Everybody's broken prod once.
Oh, no.
You haven't broken prod? No.
Not
Aw,
yet.
Sag. Not yet.
Eddie,
Yeah, what's up?
can you help me get us? Yeah, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Do you have that clone and everything?
So
That should be fine. Yeah, just a random story. Just hit your keyboard. No, just like any value. You don't need, yep. Go to advanced on the left-hand side. Yes, that should be right there. Under streamer mode. Advanced under streamer mode. Right mode.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then just enable developer. Developer. Yeah. Perfect. Are you good? Yep. Great. All right. I think everyone is mostly up to speed. Eddie is just walking around helping some people. But yep. So I guess if you have a particular server you generally test in, use that. But if not, you'll have to have a server where you have administrator permissions. So I recommend just creating a new Discord server for this workshop.
I guess if they can do this. And then just
Do you have a new server?
No, dude.
Oh,
No, no,
okay.
no.
Can you go to your Discord developer report? Perfect. And click on bot on the left-hand side, and then scroll up and click on reset token. And you might enter. Oh, perfect. And just copy that value right there, and paste that in. And then the secret will be any string you want. All right. You guys have a server? Perfect. So once you have the server, just right click on the channel, the general channel, the text channel, and then at the very bottom, click channel ID.
And then just enter the wrong default. Yeah, you're good.
Once you have your server, you can right click on the channel, the text channel on your server, and then click copy channel ID at the bottom. Yes, and then the next step will be to add a variable that's channel underscore ID, all uppercase, to your .env file with the value you just copied. Channel underscore ID. It does. Does it? Does it not?
Yeah.
Wait, it might not. Okay, right. So yeah, I guess I didn't add them. If you can go into your, just go into your terminal, press Control-C. And then do npm I, and then discord-api-types space mine.
I'll put it in the Slack.
Eddie will see.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I forgot to install some of the dependencies you need. So everyone can just go into their terminal where they're running Vercel, press Control-C to stop it, and then copy paste the command that Eddie just sent. Essentially what this will do is it'll install the two dependencies that we need for this endpoint.
Wait, do I need to stop this cell or?
Yeah, you can just open a new one if you want.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Yeah.
redo it.
Yeah, after all our refreshes.
I was just looking. Have them all installed, right? That's it. Can you add the channel underscore, all uppercase channel underscore ID and copy, copy the value.
Yeah.
If you go into Discord, your actual Discord, not the Telegram one, and you have a server that you want to test it, you just create a new server.
Literally just.
A little plus button, next, and then create my own. And then just right click on the general channel, and then click copy channel, and just paste that value into the very bottom. Yep. How was yours looking? Oh, you have Node installed?
Yeah, we.
Just search up Node.js.
Oh, great, yeah.
So,
Okay, you're.
I
don't see, okay, yeah.
okay, just install Node and those commands are set. Good.
So we have other processes there. It just doesn't, like, we just have to show where.
Oh, you can just run this command, the command that is suggested.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's PNP.
I'll send it in the Slack.
So, you know,
Wait, do you have?
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I see it.
Basically, it's space. And also,
That's
it's
my question. Okay,
Yes.
so I got it.
binary.
Is that?
General information? Yeah, and color. Yes. Right there.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Perfect. And that should help fix that error. Yeah.
No, might be a follow to the class. Yeah,
Yes, okay.
And then secret is just any arbitrary.
Oh, look in Slack again, there's another command.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not like actually in the Discord secret, it's like the password, I guess.
There's another command. That you can look in Slack. Have you run the very bottom one? Okay, perfect. After that, you're all.
But, what?
So,
What is the whole like?
oh, the full code? Yeah, let me also post that in Slack.
Thank you.
All right. And to get the code for this, Eddie will put that in Slack, and also we have a link on the screen.
Yes.
Do you have your messages.ts file?
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Great. And then the code pasted over. Awesome.
I need to remember this.
Very cool. If you create a new file under the API folder called message.ts, and then copy and paste that code over.
I'm trying to see that into our.
So I think a lot of you have the code pasted over now. Just go into your terminal and run vercel dev again, and then wait for that to load up. Then navigate to the localhost 3000/API/message. And that'll run this function, and hopefully you should see a picture of FAM in your Discord server. Uh-oh. Oh, right. Sorry. I also forgot to mention, because we added that secret parameter earlier, we have to verify that the request came from us. So if you just got a 401, that's what someone would see if they try to ran your endpoint without the authentication. So all you have to add is a question mark, then lowercase secret, $, and then the value you type in. I will add that to the Slack just so you can visually see it.
Oh, you did say. So whatever channel you want. So give it
You need to add the bots on the server too, right?
Ah, right, yes. I knew there was something I was forgetting. So, yes, then we have to start by adding the bot to the server. So if everyone could just go to the bot tab and then just give it, actually go to the OAuth tab and then URL generator on the side.
Oh,
And then you can just click bot
wait, okay.
in the middle of the second column. Perfect. You have your bot added? Okay, can you go to the Discord developer?
Okay. Yes. There you go. Also, yeah.
All it needs is a send messages.
Yeah, go to applications
And then invite.
and then so. You go back to your developer portal and then click on OAuth, URL generator on the side. And then click on bot and then give it send messages permission. And then scroll down and go to that link and add it to your server. Yeah. Yep, just go to that link and it'll allow you to invite it to your server.
Wait, oh, I have more.
Yeah, that link. Yep, perfect. Click on bot in the second column. Scroll down, send messages, and then copy it. Yep.
And
And then take this.
Good. Does everyone have their? Oh, is that the URL generator?
Yeah.
On bots. Send messages, and then copy the link and visit.
Yeah, and then once you take a look at the.
Oh, wait, Alex, it said my serverless function is crashed, but it still was able to send a message. Hold on.
Let's go.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to? Yeah.
I just see success, but I don't see it.
Can you use Discord?
Yes.
My developer.
No, you're just like your chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
There you go.
Ooh.
And then once, oh, I saw you got yours working. Perfect. If everyone looks in the Slack channel, you can also see the message you have to send. So remember, you have to add the secret you added in the second step to the URL. So, so your program knows that it's you that's requesting. Definitely, you get working.
Also, I guess it's a good time to mention that in actual API that you're doing for an actual project, if you need to do security, don't do it like this. Because the secret sent in plain text. Do something else. Yeah. This is.
And you can reload that page as many times as you want, and it'll just keep sending messages.
Yeah. So like in actual.
We're gonna add this to the ICSSC server. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like.
Am I supposed to? Yeah.
This is probably something.
I don't know who I'm supposed to. Okay.
It's a way to like, so you send a request to the server with your credentials, and then you get a signed token, like digitally signed token back, and then you use that token to communicate with the server. So the
Eddie.
server knows, wow. And also like the server can set an expiration time on the token. So if your account is compromised. So if your account is
But yeah, now that I think everyone mostly has their bot working, I guess raise your hand if your bot has sent a message. All right, cool. I'll just go over some more stuff with task scheduling. So a really useful tool for debugging serverless stuff is ngrok, which allows you to tunnel external URL into your local development URL. So essentially, this will allow you to test without actually having to deploy your project. And another really cool service that we didn't get the opportunity to go over today is Upstash. So it's great that you can use the deployment you already have to send a message, but what if we want to do this every day at noon? So essentially what we can do is once we have this deployed, we can enter our URL into Upstash, and then we can tell Upstash to send us a request every day at noon. And one of the big advantages of this is that, let's say the CAM API goes down, God forbid, right? Upstash will automatically retry it until the function succeeds with an exponential backoff function. So essentially what it'll do is it'll run it once, and if it doesn't work, it'll try it again. And then if it doesn't work again, it'll wait twice as long and then try it again. And then if it still doesn't work, it'll wait twice as long again. So essentially, this will allow you to ensure reliability without just spamming your API if something's not working temporarily. So I recommend you check that out if you're doing something with scheduling. So hopefully, everyone should have a successful message. I think that was the goal for this workshop. And some other interesting hosting platforms for you to check out is we are using Vercel for this workshop. They offer one-click deployment for websites. And if you're doing anything web related with your hackathon project, I highly recommend you check them out for quick and easy deployment. And some other alternatives are AWS Lambdas for running serverless functions, or Amplify as a Vercel alternative. Cloudflare Workers, Netlify, and for storage, if you want bucket storage, there's Amazon S3, essentially just being able to store objects or files at a specific URL. And there's also Cloudflare Workers KV, which is their key value store, and also Upstash Redis, which is a similar serverless KV store. And in terms of databases, Cockroach, I don't think they're sponsoring this event, but they sponsored Hack at UCI. Their product is great if you need a quick database for a hackathon project. And there's also PlanetScale and Neon. Neon is sorry. Neon is relatively new out of the three, and I've had some reliability issues with them, but the other two work great. But yeah, I think this kind of encompasses one of the big advantages of serverless is that when you're doing a quick project, like during a hackathon, you might want the power of a database, but not have to manage like a full-on database instance. So a lot of the advantages of something like CockroachDB is that you get a full-fledged Postgres database, but you don't have to worry about scaling it. You don't have to worry about paying for it after your project is done. And even if you do want your project to keep running, you'll only have to pay for what you use. So if no one touches your project for 3 years, you pay $0. And I think that's one of the most appealing aspects of serverless, and also the inspiration behind our workshop name, which is scaling to 0.
Oh yeah, and also CockroachDB has a really generous free tier. So basically, you pretty much don't have to worry about paying anything unless your app scales.
Unless you're doing something crazy, you're probably not paying for it. Like anything you do for a hackathon will most likely be free. And also, as we went over on the previous slide, we also have task scheduling. So Vercel has a cron function, essentially allowing you to run, allowing you to ping an endpoint every X minutes or hours. And also Upstash Qstash, which is what we were showing you on the slide before. One of the big limitations for Vercel cron is that the free tier only has 1 error precision. So I would probably go with the second option. And yeah, Let your serverless dreams be dreams no more. Thank you.
If you want to participate in the raffle, the left QR code is for that. The password is we love fam because we do. And the right QR code is the homepage for the ICS Student Council. Check it out.
Yeah.
Great.
If you'd like to join, we do recruiting for
Info.
our 6 committees. 6 now? At the
Oh,
beginning
yeah.
of the year. We have a brand new graphics committee. So if anyone is interested in that, please consider applying.
Yeah, and also projects. Go projects.
Yes. Naturally.
Obviously.
But yeah, I guess we only have a few minutes left.
But
so
any questions real quick?
Yes.
So
Sam.
back to your, the few slides earlier that like just about the database storage and all that stuff. Is Firebase not good enough to be on them?
Oh. It split my mind, Sam.
Sag.
What is
Firebase is too old school, IMO.
Yeah, it's not trendy.
Kids these days or something.
All right, I'll get the QR code again. And these slides will be posted if you want to reference them later, soon.
Soon TM.
But yeah, I hope everyone had fun.
Thanks everyone for coming out.
And perfect timing.
Yeah.
Just hit 3.